Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're from. Good morning for me, of course, because it is 11 a.m. My time right now. And in today's video, we're going to talk about the Polkadot Markets as I do every single Sunday. If you don't already know, please subscribe to this channel if you're not already subscribed and enable notifications to not miss the next video I upload that may interest you. So we're going to talk about Phala, NEER. We're going to talk about Calamari, KMA, MOVR, GLMR, RMRK, Astar, and also AUSD because we do have some news with regards to AUSD, which I'm sure you're not going to be happy to hear, but you know I always try to be as honest as possible and just say them because it's better to know the truth than to have high expectations of something and then, to be surprised. So let's kick things off with Phala. Now Phala is doing extremely well, okay, 16 cents, 0.87 as you can see here. This is live right now on KuCoin. It did pop to 1808 today. As you can see, we had these nice pops here, and this is mostly, at least in my opinion, because of the Alameda market makers who are still buying and selling Phala until the 30th of November. Okay, so they've got 10 days left. This is part of their contract as per Marvin's tweet. Marvin Tong, the co-founder of Phala Network, has tweeted a while ago, and I've covered that in a news video in case you didn't see it, where he said that they've got a contract with Alameda, with their market makers, and that's until the 30th. So they can buy and sell up until then, and then they're going to return the coins to them. So then they're likely going to find another market maker, right? So it doesn't mean it's the end. But what I am worried about, though, is that we could see a plunge in price on the 30th or after the 30th. It could be just like on the 1st of December for all we know. So there's that risk. Again, I could be completely wrong about this. Maybe it's not going to be the case, but there is a risk. And this is why we're seeing these nice pops here. Again, they've also had the NFT minting as well. So I guess that could be part of the reason why it's been doing so well, considering the high APY of over 90% still until tomorrow when the halving event kicks in. And so, yeah, to me, that's the only concern. But anything could happen at the end of the day, right? There's no guarantees. We could all be surprised and we could see this go to 20 cents and then we'd all be shocked, considering the contract would end. And it would just show that it wasn't the market makers doing it all along. It was always the community. So, yeah, considering we had this huge pop here to 30 cents and then we had the dump when Bitcoin crashed and we still held okay. We went back up here. We went back up to this previous level when Bitcoin was still 20K. Of course I'm happy. Right, this just shows you that if Bitcoin was to go to 20K again now, we could potentially see even 25 cents, right? This is the reality. And so for me, I'm really happy to see this, considering the crash, considering the high APY. I'm curious to see what the APY is going to be like tomorrow after the halving, right? I'm likely not going to see it tomorrow, but we're likely going to see it a few days after because it needs time to reevaluate, to redistribute, And so we'll see how that acts. But yeah, if we were to look at the resistance and support points here, we've got support around this area here of 14 cents. Okay, we are at support right now, by the way, around 15 cents to 16 cents is great support. But then if we were to go drop lower, it would be 14 cents next. And then we could go as low as 13 cents and finally 12 cents. Okay, because that's where the last area was. In terms of resistance, we do have resistance around this area here of 19 cents, and then we have more resistance around 21 cents, 22 cents, and then more around 23. Yeah, it's quite thin, to be fair. It is quite thin, except for this one here at 18.16. I almost missed this here, 18.6. 18.6 seems to be quite some resistance as well, and then we have a bit more around 20 cents, but I've already mentioned that because we had that from this area here. So even if these are small, these could still act as resistance points. I'm not saying they're gonna hold, we could just break right past them, but this one here is quite strong, so I'm expecting that we could struggle to break 18.6 just because of this area here and then this small one here. So yeah, 18.6 in my opinion could be a good area for selling if you're trading this. Again, not financial advice, but if I was trading it, 18.6 would be the area I would look to exit and then to buy back in around 15 cents. and lower as well if we were to drop, but we did hold pretty well around 15 like I said, so I'm not expecting us to drop much lower unless the 30th of November proves to be what I'm fearing. Let's hope it's not going to be the case and Alameda are not just going to dump everything that they've been trading and take us to the low of 12 cents again. I know a lot of people will be eager to get in around 12 cents because of the high APY when it comes to staking. It's still going to be high even after the halving for another 6 months. I'm expecting around 60 to 70% APY, which is going to be great. But yeah, that's it about Phala. Let's move on to the next one because I got a lot of ground to cover here. NEER 28 cents. NEER is not doing good, right? I mean, it dropped all the way down to 24, just below 24.50, and that is a huge drop here. We're basically taken back to these old levels that we were at in the past before we had that pop to 50 cents when we went back. What happened here? I've lost it. What happened here? Let me change this again. 1 hour. So yeah. If we look here, let me go back. So this is when we went to 58, when we had this. These were likely market makers as well, I think. I don't know if this was just the community. I think these were market makers that were paid to do this to the price and to take it higher. Yeah, this is the level here, 25 cents. So as you can see, this is when we last dropped to that level. After the initial listing, we were just on a constant drop, constant sell-off, 20 cents, and then we went to 25. So we're now sitting at this level here, which is acting as support. And we've gone up a bit now. We're at 28, which is okay-ish, but now we're going to struggle to see 30, right? We're going to get to 30 and then we're going to encounter resistance around 30, as you can see, because of these levels here. Then more resistance around, which one is next here? Next one is 35. We're going to have more at 35 here as well. So there's resistance all the way up, but it all depends, right? If they hire market makers again, then it's going to take the price much higher, in my opinion. But if they don't do that, then yeah, not great. However, let's talk about the facts here. So what do we know so far about the fundamentals? We know that right now the Bitcountry team are holding a competition for the World Cup with NFTs, right, representing teams. And what they did say in that announcement is that they will be airdropping up to 500,000 NEER. Like, that is a lot, right? That is a lot on NEER. 500,000 NEER. So, you know, think about the selling here, right? Because this is what I'm thinking about. It's like, okay, you're airdropping so much. So what could potentially happen when people that get that for free because they have the NFT will start selling, right? Just think about that, right? Let that sink in. 500,000. What's the liquidity like? Because we are only on KuCoin and Gate. And so if we look here, let's see when this loads up. It's very slow at loading. I'm not sure why. It could be the internet because I mean, I've got all these different tabs open here, but yeah, it's not loading. I don't know what's going on here. But yeah, the liquidity isn't great, right? Let me just say that the liquidity isn't great when it comes to NEER. Especially for such a large amount. I'm not saying everyone is going to sell, but you can expect a large amount of people to sell because they're getting it for free and they will want capital. And so that's my only concern here is like, out of 500,000, how many are going to sell, right? What if we get, I don't know, 10% selling, 50K? Well, maybe that's not going to impact it so much, but what if 20% sell, you know? So yeah, to me, that's a concern. There we go, it loaded now. So to me, that's a concern. Look at this. I mean, if you were to sell 50,000, it would take it all the way down to 19 cents. This is, of course, assuming you're market selling. So just think about the impact here. Let that sink in. I'm not trying to FUD. I'm just saying what the team has done is quite risky. It's quite dangerous, in my opinion. I get that they're trying to market, but maybe they should have used BIT instead of NEER to get people to actually build on the metaverse, right? You need BIT to build. Now, if they're giving people NEER, yeah, sure, you can stake NEER to generate BIT, but again, a lot of people are not going to want to build. A lot of people are going to want to sell. They'll be asking, how can I sell? So if they can't sell BIT because it's not listed anywhere, they are being inclined to build or sell when they list on a DEX. But at least it's not going to impact the governance coin, the staking coin, which is NEER, right? So now I fear that we are going to see another drop here. I fear that this is not going to hold. We are just above the 200-day moving average here. We're just above it, but I fear we're actually going to drop below it, even though we're holding around it here. If we don't bounce again here and we actually drop below it, then we are in big trouble, and we could see that major descent because of what's coming, because of that unlock. So just be aware of that, okay? Next, KMA, Calamari, again, still on a downtrend, still below the 200-day moving average, which with some weeks here and there, mostly because of people staking, I guess, because the APY is still quite okay, not as great as Phala, of course. And remember that people can, investors are still getting these tokens, these coins. So because the investors are still getting them, because they are still on locks, it's not great. And yeah, crowd loan, no. In terms of crowd loan, we're okay, because I mean they're on the new lease now. We already got our coins back from their initial crowd loan from last year. But yeah, the price is not doing great. We are seeing it plunge back to those levels that it was at. Again, like I said to you before, this was doing exactly this type of move that we've seen with NEER. Exactly the same. Typical trading analysis from the book. Right, we dumped right below the 200-day moving average, and then this was basically the trigger. As soon as we went below, this was like the trigger, get the heck out. And whoever did that was right, because look, I mean, just waiting patiently, you would have seen this dump. So yeah, I mean, as soon as you break that 200-day moving average, it's usually a bullish sign. I mean, anyone who got in around here above the 200-day moving average, or even around here when this was broken again and sat on it, was obviously happy because they saw this pop here as long as they sold. But now we're at these levels again. We're at these really bad, nasty levels. However, remember that the last time we were at these levels, there was no staking functionality. Now there is inflation. Now people can sell those staking rewards, and they will sell them. You can bet they're going to sell them. And you can expect this support to no longer hold. As solid as this support area may be, I fear that this is not going to hold because of the fundamentals. That's why I always like to use fundamentals when it comes to these, because they do play a role. And if you don't understand the fundamentals, then you're just going by pure TA. And even by pure TA, I mean, we are on a downtrend. It's not looking pretty until we break above this 200-day moving average. But because of the fundamentals, because of the high staking rewards, you can expect this to continue dumping until some major catalyst is announced by the team. But until that happens, I just don't see that happening. Let's move on to Moonriver here. We're almost 12 minutes and 30 seconds now into the video, so I need to move faster here to not bore you. With Moonriver, I mean, it's not great. Under $8, we've even had a dump to 730. This is absolutely bad. There's no other word to describe it. I mean, just think about, like, what are the chances that we're ever gonna see this even get to $100, even in a bull market? I mean, if this continues, and we still have 2023 to worry about, which could continue the downtrend, then, I mean, how much lower can we go? And I fear that we can't go much lower. Remember that there is a 5% inflation. It may not be much, but people are just selling if they are staking. And let's not forget the validators, the collators. The collators are also selling those staking rewards because they need to cover the costs. Don't be delusional thinking that the collators are holding and staking and compounding, and then hoping that the price is going to go back up, because they're not. They've got operational costs. You know, it's really expensive actually to run a collator. So those collators are selling. They are getting the commission of 20%, and that's furtherly causing, or that's causing it to drop further, right? And we've seen that. It's not just because of the market. It's because of selling as well. Constant selling pressure. So yeah, 790. Next area of resistance, if we're to go back up, is around 830. We do have more around 1030 now as well, but it's just really bad. I mean, there are so many areas of resistance with MOVR that I just don't see any light at the end of the tunnel, and there's no support either. We're basically on a thread here. I mean, this is the only support we've got here. There's nothing below that. It's anyone's guess how low this could go. So yeah, just be aware of that. Now, GLMR has been holding quite okay, considering the 20 million GLMR unlock that has happened on the 11th of November to be exact. So yeah, it dumped with the Bitcoin crash. Of course, we went to 36, but I don't think it was because of the unlock. And if it was because of the unlock, then the unlock sell-off probably happened around here when we went back up to 40 cents. and then we had more dumping here. But I just don't think that the unlock sell-off was that strong to cause this to cause a bigger plunge, right? Because I mean, this was because of the market. It's not because of the unlock, right? Because this actually happened on the 7th. If we look here, 8th, so it was way before the unlock, and then the unlock happened here on the 11th, right? This is when the unlock happened at midnight on the 11th UTC. So yeah, around here. So look at this. I mean, it didn't even drop that much. So this could tell us that those VCs decided not to sell GLMR yet and are waiting for better days. This could be my only assumption, right? But yeah, it's not looking great again for GLMR. There will be more unlocks. The next one is in around 24 days, if I remember correctly. The next area of resistance is around 46 cents. When it comes to support, again, the same issue as before. It's anyone's guess because we didn't go lower than 34 cents. So 34 cents would be support. Anything below that is a free fall. So yeah, this is the reality with GLMR, guys. Let's look at RMRK. RMRK is at 220. We dumped right down here. And look at this. This is so typical. This is so amazing, right? Exactly the same as NEER, exactly the same as KMA happened to RMRK. And if you would have played this would have been awesome because everything was doom and gloom here. We're just not looking great, right? We're just accumulation on a slight downtrend, looking at the 200-day moving average because we kept pushing a bit lower, holding okay around $2, and then boom, all of a sudden we went to 350, and then the sell-off began, of course, because people were just like, oh, I can't wait to get out. I mean, now's my shot, now's my chance. Let's get out, let's exit. And this is exactly what happened here. So we went back down to the same levels as before. Again, also because of the market, but also, I mean, it played so well with what happened with KMA and NEER. So, you know, like the market crashed exactly when these guys were on the uptrend, just on the pullback. In fact, they were on the pullback, so that when the market crashed, it further reinforced that pullback. And as soon as they went below that 200-day moving average, the bots started selling like wild. And yeah, you know the rest of the story. So we'll have to see if they can continue again. From time to time, if we look at these wicks, it looks like some people are still buying large amounts off the market, just basically buying straight from the order book here without waiting. But again, if I wanted to get in now, like 219.99 for example, and place a wall here, I'm pretty sure people are going to sell into it, including the bots. So there's no point for me to rush and just buy into the market. But again, it could help it. But you know, why rush if you know there's so much time left before Skybridge is going to be launched and before RMRK is going to have a utility. Let's move on to Astar. We haven't spoken about Astar on this channel, like I mean the price, for quite some time. I don't think I've ever done it, if I'm mistaken. Maybe I did, but yeah, Astar is exactly the same here, exactly following the exact same trend as RMRK did, as NEER did, as KMA did, you know, like, so we were basically trading sideways for so long, and then all of a sudden we had this pop. It went to 5 cents, 5.3 cents in fact, and then the crash happened. It took it back down to the same area of support. So this area of support is quite solid because we did accumulate there for a long time. So now we can only hope that it's not going to lose this area of support around 3 cents. It is 3.6 cents. I'm not aware of when the unlocks happen for Astar, but aside from the VC unlock, which I'm not aware of, and the team unlock, I do know that the crowd loan unlocks happen every single block, right? Every single block people get the crowd loan unlocks until October 2023. When they're going to get the full bag unlocked, and then no more crowd on unlocks, but the VCs can still sell, right? So that's what I'm trying to get. I'm trying to find out the unlock schedule for Astar, just to estimate what we can expect and when could be a good entry, at least for me personally, because right now I don't hold any Astar. So I will be getting in because I love what the team are doing, but not yet. I want to find out that schedule. I want to know when it's going to be closer to the end. Because I believe I'll have a shot in 2023 pretty much throughout the year to actually get in. So I'm not rushing to make an entry now. 4 cents does act like a good area of resistance. Also 4.1 here and also 4.4. So yeah, quite a lot of resistance. Let's talk about AUSD as well. AUSD. So I have to tell you the bad news with AUSD, and it is 20 cents right now. There's no doubt in my mind that this is not going to continue to drop. I do think it will happen. Yeah, so one of the things I found out recently is that they're not planning on bringing this peg back, okay, so which is, we already knew that because that was public info. But what the other thing I found out is that apparently we have to reach out to KuCoin as users to get them to reactivate the withdrawals and deposits for USD, because right now they're still disabled, they're still suspended. And I was told that, yeah, we need to reach out to them. It's not the team, it's KuCoin that's deciding that. And to me, that's just a bit odd, because as far as I know, exchanges are usually the ones going to the teams, or sorry, the other way around. The teams are the ones going to exchanges and asking them to suspend withdrawals and deposits when there's a problem. Or if the community finds out about it and reports it to KuCoin, then they would also suspend, because there would be an issue, right? Let's say, I don't know, the project decided to rug and KuCoin find out because a lot of community members informed them, then they would suspend as well, and also delist pretty much. But considering that, I mean, they've been in communications with KuCoin, they obviously got AUSD listed there. They asked them to suspend them because they had to pause the blockchain, at least some features of the blockchain, because it was in maintenance mode. It was still producing blocks, but they had to move some of the features into maintenance mode, so some of the features were unusable. And so, you know, they've informed the team. The team at KuCoin do actually know that AUSD is back to normal now, everything is operational. So I'm assuming here that KuCoin actually wanted Acala to pay the difference to bring that repeg back, and the Acala team don't want to pay that money. And because without the funding, you can't bring the repeg back. And there was likely a lot of manipulation as well on KuCoin's side, right? Bringing the price down, you know, getting in low, and now waiting for the team to buy that repeg so they can get a bunch of money, and then they can also sell into that as well. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be very difficult for them to sort this out, if it will ever happen, but I don't think it will. I'm assuming AUSD is going to get delisted because, I mean, it continues to have a low volume and the ST label has been there for so long. I'm also thinking Acala might get delisted if I'm not mistaken here. Let me check if that also has the ST label. It does, which is not good. So you can expect Acala to also get delisted. It is 10 cents. There's constant dumping happening, constant dumping, constant unlocks. It's a shame. It's a shame this is happening, but this is the reality for a lot of us. Yeah, let's move on and look at KSM as well. KSM, what's KSM doing? 24.91, not great. Again, same issue here. We've just about broken above the 200-day moving average. We could see an uptrend here, assuming Bitcoin is going to hold, and maybe we'll see around 2704 as the next area of resistance. And then there's a lot more resistance at 29, at 34, you know, and to me, like, I'm not saying that we're not going to see another pop to the upside for KSM. Absolutely we will, but it may take a while. It may take a while because right now it's just the inflation. It's just validators selling their staking rewards. There are no crowd loans right now. There's no demand for buying KSM right now because it's just so cheap to get a parachain slot, and teams are usually self-funding. So yeah, it's not looking great. We could even drop as low as $20 and even $15. So yeah, just expect that to happen. You know, be realistic. Like for me personally, I wouldn't be buying KSM. If I had KSM, I would be selling KSM only because of what I said, right? There's absolutely no demand right now, and this is the reality. Let's talk about DOT as well. Let's look at DOT USDT. DOT 557. It is holding quite okay around this area. It is still below the 200-day moving average. As you can see, we tried to touch it a few times and we couldn't break past it. And even here, like we went just a little bit above it and we went right back below it, right? And it is on a downtrend as well. So, I mean, until we break out of this, until we see some bullish momentum, you can expect DOT to remain low for the next while. With all this FUD in the market, ever since we had that crash, even if we went to 730, ever since we had that crash, you know, it's not been great. But remember, when we were on a downtrend here and DOT went to 575, we would have thought the same, right? We're still on a downtrend. We're eventually going to go back up And we did. Look, I mean, all of a sudden on the 25th is when, on the 25th of October is when that trigger got pulled and boom, you know, and this is exactly what's going to happen. Again, I'm expecting another one of these triggers to happen. I don't know at which point, but when there will be enough sell-off, we can expect this to recover. Because at the end of the day, it all recovers with Bitcoin, right? As long as the team deliver, as long as there's development, things are going to be okay, right? So you shouldn't worry about that. But I'm not saying this couldn't go lower. Of course it could. We could see $4 as the next area of support. But that's been it from today's Polka Markets video. Thank you as always for watching. And don't forget to leave a comment below telling me what do you think of the markets? What do you think of any of the coins I spoke about? Do you have high hopes in any of them? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Enjoy your Sunday. Bye-bye.